So our speaker today is Sajady, who I asked him, what do you want me to tell people about you? And what he said was very interesting to me because it boiled down to, I want to transform people's lives. I can relate to that because that's kind of what I like to do as a teacher. He does it a lot more, as you may have noticed, hands-on than I do. And he gave me a little sample of this beforehand, so I can wholeheartedly say that I'm excited to hear what he has to say. He's a local boy, made good. Yeah, we want to support that. And I suspect that some of our new people here are here specifically to see him, so I'm going to turn this over to him and welcome all of you who are new and welcome Mas, and thank you so much.
Hi, is this, oh, good, I'm on. This is the first time I'm kind of nervous. I'm in a spiritual center. I guess I have to be good. It's a little tough. How many people are new to me? Oh, wow, a lot of new people. Okay, so throughout the session, guys, just to let you know, I work on you guys while I speak. So if you feel a little drowsy or out of it or something like that, well, one, I could be boring you, or two, I'm actually shifting you. And that's how you work, okay? So just be aware of that. Sometimes, even driving, some people get disoriented, so just be careful if you do feel a little different. You might want to take a break or something like that. So with that, I've got some notes. It's not like I'm checking my text. So just to follow along with the theme of the Spiritual Center, it is choice. So our topic is the choice to be abundant. And how many of us have tried to be abundant in any way? Relationships, spirituality, finances, right? What else? Oh, physical health, right? And then we try, and then we keep trying, but we still just can't get it, So we're going to be talking about why that is. On that, first let me share with you, since there's a lot of new people, how I came here. Actually, I'm a computer programmer. I developed, used to have my own successful website business. I did that for about 18 years on that before I did this. So why is a computer guy talking about, say, changing your frequency or spirituality even, right? It's because I had the second near-death experience. Now, the first one happened to me in my early 20s, worked at a warehouse, had my jaws crushed. And in that, and I'm just gonna make it brief because I wanna open it up to you guys, if you have any questions, things like that. Okay, so it's free-flowing. More of a forum rather than me speaking to you. But just some highlights on that first near-death experiences is when I had my jaws crushed, it was really interesting to see myself in a mirror-like image. I was actually seeing my body like I was looking at a mirror. I'm going, wow, that's really strange that my head is over here, my body's torqued over here, and I'm going, wow, that must really hurt. And then, I started to realize, it's like, whoa, I'm out of my body. And then it dawned on me that I was dead. And I didn't get scared. I wasn't, anxious or anything like that. Actually, it opened up this doorway. You start to realize things at a higher order. A lot of awarenesses come through. And by the way, you don't have to have a near-death experience to have those awarenesses come through. And that's what I'm talking about. Okay? Many of you guys who've experienced me, you've seen that door start to open, right? And that's what it's really about. Anyway, as I started, melting through the rail car, literally you go through, just like in the movies, how you just they go walk through walls and all that. I was just melting through, going into that so-called heavenly space, into the light. And then that's where I saw my life flash by. It doesn't really flash by, but our brain doesn't have the capacity to run at that speed. So it feels like it's flashing by, but you actually see your entire life from, actually a little before 0, the time you were born, up to that moment. You relive your whole existence. And that really distorts time. And, as I'm more of a scientific perspective, maybe I can grasp that. Maybe that's why I can grasp it a little bit more. Although spiritual, that's a byproduct. But when you can say distort time in that fashion, I mean, how can you live, 22 some years, right, in just a matter of, say, mere seconds or maybe less than that, right? You start to distort time, and after that experience, actually time started to be distorted for me. I had the abilities, it was haphazardly, but to extend time, compress time, things of that nature. But when I was in that space, everything was perfect. Even all the negative experiences, I saw it through a loving space. There was no, say, I wish I would have done that, or, too bad that didn't work out. Everything was perfect. You saw it through, totally different eyes, and there was always, say, not a reason, or not even a purpose, but just a knowing that it was okay, right? A lot of us try to, say, get out of this space where we are, right? Thinking that we've made a mistake, that we want to be out of this space. It's really not about that, guys. It's actually loving where you are, okay? And then that's how you actually ascend higher and get into better places, right? You have to live where you are right now. Fast forward about 20-some years, and then my second near-death experience, which happened 2006, 2007. We were in Belize, and it was really amazing experiences. Have you guys known that if things are supposed to happen to you, no matter what you do, you can't get out of it, right? Well, this was supposed to happen to me. The inner tubing trip, it was sold out. We didn't know what to do. We were walking out of the ship. And again, I'm just kind of speeding this up so we can get to questions, things like that. We were walking out of the ship. This guy has a sign says, inner tubing trip for 6. There was 6 seats, and it was us, six people. My wife and I, my 4 kids at the time, and it was like nobody else saw him. It was almost like an angel, Didn't look like an angel, but somebody that was there. So we get into the jungle, and this jungle was totally gorgeous, just like what you see in Jurassic Park, just beautiful, huge trees, animals chirping, things like that. We get into the water, and at that time, they hand out life jackets. Well, they ran out of life jackets for me. One, Clue 2, And I'm going, dang, I'm a pretty strong swimmer. I was a swimmer in high school, so I'll be okay. Besides, I've got the inner tube, right? Who's gone to Wisconsin, the lazy, what is it? Apple River? I was thinking it was like that, right? How bad could it be, right? But actually it wasn't. We looked at the river, and it was moving so fast. You get that, as a parent, you want to make sure you just get that, what is it, parent radar or whatever it is. I double-checked, the life jackets on my kids just to be sure for some reason. And Clue 3, when we get together, we're all ready, the guide goes, okay, guys, you want to keep your legs interlocked because you don't want to separate, because if you do separate, you'll go into other tributaries that feed underground waterfalls and caves. So you might get sucked inside. And I'm going, oh, okay, that's good. That's a nice family trip. Anyway, as soon as we leave, right, something happens, I have to unlock my legs. Oh, and as we get in, the jungle, guys, just total silence, like dead silence. There was no birds chirping, there was no wind. Everything just like calmed down. It was just like dead silence, just like it, again, in the movies. And I'm going, wow, the birds, they must take, was it siesta time or hiatus, right? During the afternoon. It was unbelievable. That was like Clue 3. But anyway, we get in, my legs get unlocked, and then they go one way, I go another way, and I get sucked into what they call, they have these rocks jutting out of the river with holes, about man-sized holes. I got sucked right out of my inner tube in that tunnel. And I was down there maybe, according to my wife, maybe quite a long time, maybe 8 minutes or so, or 10 minutes, whatever. But even at that time, I started to let go, that non-judgment space. I thought it was terrible, thought I'd see my kids for the last time, my family and all that. You let go, and this beautiful thing started to happen. Again, I left my body. I transcended through the water, through the rocks, through the water, and then again into this space. But this time I didn't see my life flash forward. I actually was just sitting there in a beautiful blue. I think the Jewish religion, they call this blue a certain tint, but it's a heavenly blue that's not really here on earth. And there was no time, there was no distance, there was really nothing. It was just beauty, it was completeness. I didn't need my kids, I didn't need my wife or money or any type of security, because I was it. I was whole, I was complete, as I was. Again, there is no time, right? So you could do anything like that, anything that you wanted. If you wanted to, say, go to, Italy or wherever you wanted to go, right? You were there. You were part of that space. So, and then, that was beauty, but then I came back in and I found myself maybe about 50 yards above river, looking at the inner tube. I'm going, wow, how the heaven did I get here? Because I should have been sucked downwards, right? So obviously through divine intervention, I came out, looked around, and then it took us a couple hours to get back on the ship. That's a whole nother story. We had a flat tire, we missed the ship, we had, all this other stuff. Anyway, we get on the ship, and that's where strange things started to happen. And I know you guys, many of you guys probably know a lot more about spiritual things than I do, about how chakras work, how auras work, and all that other stuff. But, when I was starting to see people a couple hours after, I started to see this orb around individuals. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. And it was the same beautiful blue that I was seeing in the heavenly space. It was a slate blue. And I go, wow, I'm starting to see chakras. That's really neat, But I said, maybe after I graduate, after I get more used to it, I'll see the colors, because auras, right, are supposed to be colors, right? Isn't that it? Yeah, or chakras, right? They have colors, right? So I go, well, maybe I'll get in tune and then I'll see auras. But actually, in reality, I was actually seeing the individual spirits. And not many people actually see your true spirit, or your core level program that I call it. And I didn't even think anything of it. But, and I thought actually on top of that, I thought I had cried too much, or there was some bacteria in the water, right, that was making my eyes kind of blurry. Actually, I didn't even think, it's like, because I have that mind that goes, oh, show me, right? Show me the proof, show me, that it really works. But interesting enough, though, when I looked at inanimate objects, like the carpeting or whatever it was, my eyes were totally clear. When I looked at, humans, I could see an orb. And usually it's about arm's length out, all the way around. Okay? That's your spirit space. How many people have ever felt that? You see how, expansive you are? That's a lot, and that's really the key to start seeing this reality through physical form. Through spiritual eyes. Really, that's why we're here. We go into the dining room, and that's when amazing things started to happen. I didn't see any individuals. It was just a group of people. There's maybe like 300 people in those dining rooms. I didn't see any individuals at all. All I saw was spirits. No humans, per se. And if I looked at somebody, I could tap in and just read their history log. Really. Again, guys, I'm a computer programmer, so I talk computer language. You won't hear me saying fluffy stuff. I don't know, all that spiritual stuff, right? So, anyway, I could see like, oh, this guy has, kidney issues, or this guy has, relationship issues, things like that. And, I could like kind of expand the window and then go back in history and say, oh, as a child, this person was like this, and this person was abused, or whatever it was, right? I could read that. I didn't know what to do with it. I thought it was a cool trick. I told my wife, I go, honey, I'm seeing things, all these people around, and she's going, oh, that's okay, honey. You've had a stressful day, you'll be okay later on, I'm going, yeah, you're probably right, Anyway, about 6 months later, though, after we get in, back home, it's nice to be back home, and nothing really happened, but I started getting more aware of my universe around me. Kind of peeling away that veil, that was there, right? That's always there for us. And started peeling that away, really starting to get distorted, really with the physical form, really heavy, guys. If you've ever been in spirit space and then come back down, right? All of us have, but we just don't remember. You know, it's really thick. It's like walking through jello here on that. And that was really starting to distort me, or, you know, get me anxious on that. But I started walking into these meditations. I was drawn into these meditations. And usually they'd happen like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning on that. It was just unbelievable. It's like, hey, it's time to meditate. And I'm going, who said that? You know? And it's like, well, I'll meditate in the morning because it's 3 o'clock in the morning, right? I'll meditate. I'll wake up early, promise, and then I'll meditate. It's like, no, it's time to meditate. I'm going, and it wouldn't leave me alone, so I'd wake up, you know, and I'd stand up. I'd do these stand-up meditations. And by the way, we'll do that, guys. How much time do we have on? 11:30? Oh, okay. 11:15 or 11:30?
11:20, 11:25.
Okay.
In there.
Okay. Like I said, time is a variable, right?
We're very flexible here.
Who cares? Anyway, I started walking into these meditations, and that's where I got really downloaded with, you know, a lot of the information that we always seek. You know, how to do this, why are we here? You know, how to, say, edit on that. Tons and tons of information. Signed a lot of contracts. Again, and got gifted with, say, changing your frequency. Really, in essence, that's really what it's about. You know, there's tons of ways, there's tons of modalities out there, but this, I found, is, say, the most efficient way to transform, really, because it really reprograms you at a blueprint level, you know, where you don't have to do anything, you just are. Okay? And to me, it was really, say, well, very different than anything I've seen or handled, because I've read, you know, all the religious books, you know, any religion. I've read all the motivational books. I've attended a lot of seminars, you know, spent tens of thousands of dollars, right, trying to figure out what that key was, but I just couldn't quite get it, you know. I'm sure like just many of you here, you know. And then finally, after that near death, you know, that key opened up, or I was the proud owner of that key. Now, I'm not here to say that I'm, you know, special than you guys. Actually, I'm here to say that everybody has that key, or everybody has that ability. I'm one of those people that are coming here on earth to show you that, hey, you know, if I can do it, you know, you guys can do it. Do you guys know Roger Bannister, by chance? He was the first guy that broke the 4-minute mile. Before, nobody could break the 4-minute mile, right? It was a human impossibility. But then when he broke the 4-minute mile, it made world news, headline news, you know, that a human, you know. Now, if you're not running the 4-minute mile, because it's so standard, you're not like actually running, you know, in this, you know, the serious guys, right? So I'm one of those individuals to say, hey, you know, this is what we can do, you know, and it opens up to a lot. It opens you up to a lot of other, like, possibilities that are out there. Much faster than maybe anything that you've done. I mean, people have gone to psychologists or anything like that, or even chiropractors for years and years, and usually I can adjust backs, things like that, maybe within a couple minutes, usually. And I don't do it physically. And I'm not knocking chiropractors or anything like that. I'm just enhancing their ability, because I remove the initial core of what's happening with you, or how your body is created, okay? Some of the things that can help you transform, again, is spiritual connection. You know, we all desire that spiritual connection. No matter what religion you are, no matter what non-religion you are, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter to me. I can enhance that ability for you to connect what I call the pure source. Okay? Some people might use God or, I don't know, true light or something like that, but even those words have been so tainted. That's why I use pure source. Kind of disconnects you from all that, say, negative knowledge. I hate to say it, religion is fantastic, but it's actually got a bad name because of, say, all the commercialism, all the power controls, you know, things like that that control individuals. This is really a space of freeing. But if you are religious, it actually helps you enhance whatever religion you are, and you start to see the truer light of whoever created a religion for you, right? Not what was, say, handed down, you know, through culture on that. Does anybody have questions Wow. No questions? Yes? No, and that's what I'm here to show you too. That was the old paradigm, right? And actually, I can work on you guys while I speak. Do you mind? I can work on you. Do you mind? That way, you kind of get a little flavor of what I do. No, you don't have to have, say, a near-death experience to transform, and that's what I do. Is I don't instill any other frequency other than the pure source. In fact, when I had my near-death experience, what happened to me was I was connected to that pure source much stronger, right? My spirit awoken to a higher level, and then that spirit awakening, creates that enlightenment that we call, that enlightenment or that connection, right? Or that materialization, abilities to materialize things, like money or whatever we need. That starts to happen naturally for you, actually. Nowadays, what I do is just connect you to that pure source connection, the same way I was connected with the near-death, but you guys don't have to have that near-death experience. That's what it's really all about. There's tons of ways. Even that's just a rule set. I call these things rule sets. People have become to think that you have to have a traumatic experience to wake up, right? We just believe that, right? Something awful has to happen, right, for us to truly awaken. And by the way, you guys, there's tons of near-death experiences. In fact, like maybe 700 a day just in the U.S. that happen. But you don't see a lot of people say that are, say, gifted, right? Why is that? Because, and the reason is that they're not really, say, groomed. When I had my near-death experience, I was literally groomed to bring back the knowledge that's there. A lot of times that knowledge is so pure and so bright that we don't, we go beyond, say, our comfort limit, and it really distorts us, right? Although they're connected, there's a deeper knowing, they don't know what to do with that knowledge. So opening you up to a higher knowledge or understanding. And with her, I can see, some of my abilities. I can see you like an MRI. I can scan you. If you talk about somebody, I don't have to know their name or anything like that. I actually can just connect with them as well. In fact, I was working on your son and just kind of tapping into what's going on with them on that. A lot of the issues that we have, we think it's a physical issue or a physical cause, so we work on the physical issues or causes, thinking that that's going to provide that solution. How are you feeling? Okay? Good.
Yeah, thank you for touching me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Your back will kind of align, starts like this area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of curved. So work on that. Did you have pregnancy or something that didn't work out, or did you mind?
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2 miscarriages.
2 miscarriages? Oh, okay. So that's cool. Can I talk about that? Is that okay? Okay. So anyway, say like with her, right? She had 2 miscarriages. I kind of scanned her body. She had 2 miscarriages. A lot of times we think that, the spirit goes away, but in reality that actually causes, those spirits, one of them at least, is still here, thinking that, that they're still going to be born or waiting for that body. And that's why she's got this scoliosis. Again, guys, I'm not a doctor, so if I give you, physical advice, check with your own self. But I can see that little slight curve in that area. And, she'll try to go to chiropractors and so on and so on and so on. And some people even try surgery, right, to straighten out their back. And then sooner than later, they come back, right? That curve comes back. Why? Because that original issue, that, say, density of another frequency in them, you can sit down.
Thank you.
Yeah, you'll feel a lot straighter. Anyway, that original issue is still there, frequency-wise. So, when you remove that spirit, like I just did for her, you'll start to see a lot of, say, not only just your physical issues straightened out, but some of the emotional type issues that you kind of hold down there as well, kind of nicely tight, bound up. We'll start to release that as well for you, age-old stuff on that. Okay? So again, do you see that, guys? It's not about, oh, I did this, in a previous lifetime, and now I'm paying it for it in this lifetime. That's why my life sucks, or it's bad, or I have a lot of issues. Guys, it's just frequencies. It's not your fault, really. How many people think that spirits are really pure? Is there anybody new here? New for the first time? Do you want me to work on you, or I can work on you guys while. Anyway, how many people think that spirits are pure? Right? They're really not, from what I found out. You guys wouldn't have, say, the issues that you have, the so-called issues that you have, if your spirits were truly awakened. And that's really the reason why, we have the issues that we have. If we created our life from, say, a totally awakened spirit, you'd walk in abundance, just like the animals do, right? Animals don't know, for example, a squirrel or anything like that, they get born in the springtime, right? But they know how to gather nuts. They know, for the birds, they know how to fly south. All those things, right? Those are all created, all programmed into you. Your natural space of abundance is actually being abundant, or what I call that 360 degrees of abundance for you. It's your natural birthright, okay? Where you are now is very disharmonious, not only to yourselves, but to, your loved ones, and then the earth as well. So becoming truly awakened, I know a lot of you guys have, I kind of just scanning the room, a lot of causes to save the earth or to save this and that. Guys, really save yourself from what I'm sensing, and you really, really start to see an opening in the earth around you. Did you have a question, hon?
Yes, I do. If we all have this ability or the spirit to do
Mm-hmm.
work to reach our soul,
Yes.
then how can we work on ourselves?
How can you work on yourselves? Very simple, and we'll do a quick meditation, actually. And about that, I'll show you. One of the best ways is it's not rocket science, guys. It's it's so simple, it's deceiving, really. Because everything that we need is around us. A lot of times what we look for, get rid of all the pain in your emotional. Do you have heart issues? Slightly.
Not physical heart,
Yeah.
emotional.
Well, it's kind of affecting your electrical heart. The electrical part of your heart. There we go. So anyway, yes, you doing okay? You'll start to see that release. Sometimes, guys, there's a detox effect as these emotions come up. You become aware of it and then they release. Yes? Do you want to come up and I'll work on you too? Okay.
I'm very curious to why some people get this strong urge to be healers, psychics, whatever, and others work their whole lives and don't get it.
Sure. Sometimes, people who have gone, I haven't gone to a lot of psychics, but when psychics come and read me, they get excited and they go, wow, I have to tell you about yourself. I go, okay, that's cool. Because I don't see a lot of the stuff, say, that other people see about me, that's somewhat closed off. But that is actually the choices that you make. At some level, I see a lot of intuitives, and I work on a lot of healers, to enhance their modality. Doesn't matter what modality it is. Again, I work on a lot of doctors, surgeons, things like that. Western medicine. Doesn't really matter. They just get more intuitive on their abilities. That's all. But for your question, again, it's the choice that you made. Sometimes I see fantastic abilities in people, but what happens is that maybe they were scared, maybe they were traumatized, or maybe they were put to death, right? So in this life form, they choose not to use their abilities, or they shut it off, right? Some people are just not awake enough for some reason. Again, when your spirit has created you, it's not totally awake. It really creates from the past life experience. And that's why I'm saying it's not totally awake. So those habits that we've had, these patterns run through, your own previous lifetime. And even if you don't believe in past lives, let's call it, say, lineage, family lineage. You start to see, I start to see, say, amazing things like abortions, which is kind of strange, but It's like, oh, you had an abortion. It's like, then I tap into their mother. It's like, oh, your mother's had a couple of abortions. Then you tap in, into their grandmother. And it's like this family pattern that happens, just like you get your hair color, eye color, all that. You get other things as well. Again, everything, if you can think of it as apps on your phone, okay? You've downloaded this app. It's a fantastic app at the time, right? But now it's not useful anymore for you. It takes up room, memory, and it takes up space, and it keeps running in the background, whether you know it or not. Have you ever, especially an iPhone, have you seen like all the apps that you've ever turned on an iPhone? They're still running in the background until you clear it up, right? Your life is very similar to that, by the way. So what I go do is just go in and go, oh, what, you don't need this app anymore. You don't need this app anymore. You don't need this app anymore. You don't need this app that causes trauma. For you, I'll open up like knowledge, like truer knowledge. You're more of an individual that like seeks, say, physical knowledge. That connection is not there yet for you. So that's really opening up, and it's really, you'd think it'd be in the head space, but it's actually right here for you. I don't know if you have physical issues here. Yeah. So that's why. So do you see like, oh, by the way, I see like patterns in people when I tap into you. I really don't, although I see you, and I can work on you remotely. I can work on people through people, so I can work on a loved one through you if they're not open to it. But what happens is I can scan you and I go, oh, there's this issue here. It's almost like highlighted. It's so easy, guys, So anyway, and if you tap or if I like seek more knowledge, like sometimes I go, oh, at when you were 6 or 7, something happened to you, and they go, no, I don't remember anything. And then I go, okay. And then I can say go down into that history log and go, oh, your mother did this to you. And then go, oh, yeah, I remember that, type deal. So, any other questions? Somebody, you, or you?
How long does it take? And also, like, if,
There you go.
like, I've been trying to heal my eyesight.
Yeah, do you want to come up?
Maybe something more important needs to be healed. So does your spirit go to that first?
Yes, there's a couple ways. One, again, it's that connection to source that guides you. And by the way, I'm not moving these people around or anything like that. Basically, let's just step back a little bit. Everything here in life, in physical form, is really frequencies, okay? Our bodies aren't really solid. The chair, the floor, everything that we see is not solid at all, right? It's created by, a group thought, right? And we have amazing abilities, by the way, guys, on how to transform that group thought. So, what was your question? Sorry.
Like, what heals first?
Oh, what heals
Relationship,
first?
love, money,
Oh,
eyesight?
yeah. So, sometimes I get separated. Sorry. So when I bring in that pure source connection, because literally that's all I do, although I can direct it to certain areas for you, like in a 21-day group healing that we do every month, or group healings that we do, anything like that, I guide you into a space and I send out, say, this blanket frequency of connection. And then people get to say amazing results, right? No matter what it is. And the reason being is that connection, that pure source connection, actually guides you on what to do. It brings you into harmony. It's nothing that I instill in you, because whatever you are, that perfection that you are, it just comes out. I help you like take off the tarnish, really. So yes, that's in a group space. Other times I can work on you, say specifically, if you have a specific issue, I can just like enhance it, speed it up, speed that process up for you a little bit. I don't have to touch you. I can work on your back if you were in China, or if you're an alien, in Mars or wherever you are. So, any other questions? Yes. Oh, no. I bypass all that. You know, all those are all, say, belief systems, physical belief systems, and there's a hierarchy. How are you doing? Okay. You'll start to see you're not in this time frame, in this reality. You know?
Speed it up, as we say.
Yeah,
Heal
your own is,
mastery ahead of
yeah,
time.
yeah. Oh, okay. So you'll come back into this time, and then you'll see it like that effect a lot faster. There we go. Yeah. So, so what was it? Sorry. Say it one more time.
Initial question, by the way, what's
You're
better
welcome.
for the energy to come through what a computer man? Because you are living in the inner space all the time. So what wonderful way your technology works with what you're doing. But the initial question was,
Oh,
how do you heal a person that doesn't believe in it?
right. It happens quite a bit. And again, you know, you have the physical form. It's kind of, yes, let's step back. So you have like chiropractors, you know, you have the physical form. Chiropractors, Western medicine, prescription, you know, or drugs, supplements, food, whatever it is, that's that physical form, right? And then you jump up, and then you get into the energy systems of the body, you know, like chakras, auras, other frequency systems of the physical form. That's in that middle layer, energy healers, psychics, your intuition, time, all that is in there. Then there's a couple layers, and then you get into, say, this fifth layer. And that's where I work. It's at your core level or your spirit level on how your body was created. So when you start editing at that level, it bypasses anything below. Okay? And that's why we can't see the changes that we've tried for 10, 20 years, because you're trying to change something here, but the core level programming, you know, changes need to be made up here for you to get permanent change, right? And that's why it takes so long on that. So it doesn't matter. In fact, I work on a lot of people who are, say, on drugs or addicted to something, and I work on I worked on them through their loved ones, so they don't even know that I'm working on them, and they get fine. In fact, one of my best stories of transformation is somebody that she didn't talk to her son for over 20 years. He was addicted to drugs. I worked on her. She came in for a back problem or something, or heart issue, whatever it was, and her son kept coming in. I go, do you have a son that's, you know, whatever, addicted? She goes, yeah, and she started crying. So I started working on him and her at the same time. And like 3 days later, out of the blue, you know, her son calls up. He goes, Mom, you know, I'm going to go into drug treatment. You know? And that was after 20 years. That's the first time, you know, they had Thanksgiving together. They had Christmas together. You know, and I only worked on him like 3-4 times. Do you have that question, hon? Do you want to come up? No, you're new, right? Have I worked on you before?
So the concept of enlightenment,
Mm-hmm.
so you were just talking about different, I guess, realms of energy. Like when you're at that point of enlightenment, supposedly, like you tap into your intuition, and that higher intellect can basically lead you to the right path.
Mm-hmm.
So where...
And by the way, guys, I don't have to pay attention to her. I mean, to help her. Okay, that's what I meant. I don't need to know, say, what her issues are or anything like that to guide her. I automatically go where I need to go. And then you might see me, if you've seen me on like YouTube videos or anything like that, you know, I move my hands a lot. It's just automatic. That happens automatically. You know, and in that, you know how you program using a keyboard and mouse? This is just a higher level language. It's a 3D language. And, you know, I change, or I use my hands a lot to, reprogram you in a 3D language. So I'm not moving energy around. Some people think I'm moving energy around. That's not the case. Although you can move energy around, but that's more of a physical form for you. Are you doing okay, honey? I don't know. Do you want to talk about your question? I won't.
No, so like that concept of enlightenment and that idea that, there's a higher intellect and like
Yes.
we all have that in us. We all have that ability to that higher knowledge.
Yes.
You were talking about the different realms of,
Yes.
of energy. So where does that fall? Because you were talking about that higher, like the fifth.
Yes.
Versus where does that fall? That idea.
The idea
That
or
concept of enlightenment.
that
and
concept?
higher intellect.
Well, there's stages again, and within these stages, guys, there's more stages, and that's why you see like, and it's usually like 7s or 13s and so on like that, and that's why these numbers are say somewhat sacred. They are. I don't know numerology, but anyway, the higher you go, the more you open up. But there, you get to a point that you go beyond, say, the physical form. And individuals like Jesus or Buddha or Muhammad or those great individuals, they've stepped into, say, that transparency mode. They don't stay there all the time because you just can't live here physically. You have to go. So what they do is kind of like a dolphin or a whale. They come up for air, they grab what they need, and then they go back down and live in this physical form. So with you, I can bring, say, those awarenesses. By the way, I work on a lot of business individuals, like enhancing their business, bringing in those, say, inventions, because inventions are in the air, right? So I open you up to, say, connecting with whatever is there for you. Do you have a question, or do you want me to work on you? I can work on you. Does anybody have a question? Yes, the little girl. I'm sorry, honey, I can't hear you. What I'm talking about, you don't understand? That's okay. Kids are great. They're so great, in fact, I have 6. So, anyway, you don't have to understand anything about what I'm saying. In fact, most people, they think that they understand what I'm talking about. And then like months later, they start transforming, and then they go, oh, so that's what it's really about. So you don't even have to understand. But at an intuitive level, you actually know what it's about because that's where you came from. Again, I'm not instilling anything new. I don't use my frequencies to help you. I just connect you again to that pure source connection. Let's do a meditation, guys, okay? And then if you can stand up. If you want to sit down, that's fine. Kind of open up your heart space here. And then I'm going to be walking around the room, so if you feel me touch you, don't get startled, okay? So whether your eyes are open, closed, doesn't really matter. You guys are always in control, right? You can close them at any time that you like, right? Let's go ahead and just notice your breath, notice your surroundings. Right. There's a breeze around from the fans, the noise of the fans, my voice. Just be aware of that. There you go. Go ahead and take that initiating breath in, nice and deep. Just allowing ourselves just to come into this moment in time. And again, I'm going to be walking around the room. Exhaling, letting go. Coming into this space, again, noticing your body, maybe your forehead. Forehead, your eyebrows, your nose, your mouth, your chin. It's been there all your life. A lot of times we don't pay attention to it, right? Right there. Just breathing in again, acknowledging the group. A lot of people here. It's just like group prayer. Group healings, there is power in numbers. Taking advantage of that to help us enhance, transform a lot easier, shift. And then open up different realities for us as well. Taking that brilliant breath in, asking that question, how do I connect to pure source even stronger? As we inhale. And then whenever you're ready, exhale. Starting to be in your body, you might feel more relaxed now. Well, we just started about a minute ago or so. Maybe noting your neck, starting to relax, let go. Or maybe even your shoulders drooping down. You know, the upper muscles of the arms, the elbows, all the way through the hands. Perhaps feeling frequencies at your fingertips, right? A sensation at your fingertips. Again, just confirmation that you are supposed to be here. You are deserving of that natural abundance that's rightfully yours. And allowing whatever is needed to let go. We can even go down further into the chest space, all the way down to the hips. And right into the legs. One of the best ways, again, to connect to pure source. If you're going to have a mantra, that's the only mantra you should have at this time. How do I connect to pure source even stronger? Constantly say that. Put it on your bathroom mirror, whatever you do on your fridge. You'll be amazed how your life transforms. Okay? There's nothing else you really need. As I continue to work on you, and as you just notice your body, your hips, your legs starting to relax, maybe shift. I can again adjust your back without even touching you. So you might feel those adjustments going on, that physical form. Your neck might be looser. All the way down, right down into your ankles, tops of your feet. There you go. One of the best ways, again, to connect is really not outside yourself. It's really about understanding your body. Right? Noting your body. Whatever you're doing, study your body. Note how it works. Whether you're texting, driving a car, we're always outside. We're always looking outside of ourselves, right? Important thing is, especially when you're, say, tense, anxious, you start commanding time by coming into the present moment. Again, by just noting your body, noting what your hands are doing, your feet, whatever it might be. Just going to let you be for about a minute or two as I continue to work on you and as you just note your body. Even if your mind wanders, it's okay. Just note it wandering. All right. Taking that nice, beautiful breath in. Just feeling that air coming into your lungs. And then holding it for a second or two, exhaling. Noting your body complete from head to foot. Maybe if you're familiar, expanding into that spirit space, combining the two, physical form, spiritual form. As we end, taking that gorgeous breath in, exhaling, coming into our bodies even more. Perhaps opening your eyes if you're ready, or whenever you are ready, opening your eyes. Feeling relaxed, refreshed, maybe a little distorted if it is a little detox for you.